Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about adding and subtracting linear expressions. Let's get started. Let's start with the last video's homework. Just take a look at those questions as a reminder. And now these are the answers. For the first two questions, the objective was to find the terms and like terms. For number 1, we have 4z plus 5 plus 8 plus 6z. The terms are 4z, 5, 8, and 6z. What are terms? Terms are a single mathematical expression. What are like terms? It's when you find the same or a group of the same mathematical expressions, as in variables, the same integers, whole numbers, etc. Our like terms here are 4z and 6z because they have the same variable, and 5 and 8 because they are whole numbers and integers. So for number 2, we have minus x minus 7x squared plus 9x squared plus 1. Our terms are minus x minus 7x squared, 9x squared, and 1. Our like terms are minus x minus 7x squared and 9x squared for our first group. And 1 doesn't have another single mathematical expression to be part with, so it's just there alone. For the other two questions, the objective was to simplify the expression. For number 1, we have 14g plus 3g. These two are like terms, and as a result, our answer would be 17g. For number 2, we have 10x plus 7 minus 5. 10x doesn't have another like term to be part with, so it's just there alone. We're not going to touch that. 7 minus 5 are like terms, and the answer for that would be 2. Alright, now let's get started with today's lesson. So, our first topic that we're going to be focusing on today is adding linear expressions. This is the horizontal method. Our first question is, open parenthesis minus 16y plus 3, close parenthesis, plus, open parenthesis 14y minus 1, and close parenthesis. I suggest you guys read the problem out loud if you can, or just break it down and comprehend it in your brain. I combine the like terms, and that is what you should be doing too, because it's easier to break down and not to make many mistakes. Minus 16y plus 14y plus 3 minus 1. Now we're going to simplify this even further. We get minus 2y plus 2. For now, our next question, we have open parenthesis 4x minus 2, close parenthesis, plus 5, open parenthesis, x minus 2, and close parenthesis. I'm just going to be reminding for those who already know this, but if you don't, just watch me. We have a 5 here outside the parenthesis, and we have x minus 2 inside the parenthesis. When something like this occurs where there's a number outside and numbers inside the parenthesis, you're going to have to multiply the numbers outside with the inside. Now, the next step, I put it into a very easier way to understand. It's the distributive property. And I suggest beginners to do this when they're doing problems similar to this one. We have 5 times x minus 5 times 2, because 5 times x is what it means here, and minus 2 times 5. It doesn't really matter where the minus is, in front of the 2 or in front of the 5, as long as you get the same answer. And that only applies to multiplication and division, but when it's addition and subtraction, it really matters where the sign goes. Now let's simplify this side. We're not touching this side yet. We're just focusing on simplifying this side. Now 5 times x is 5x, and minus 5 times 2 is minus 10. Now we're going to touch this side, and we're going to combine the like terms. 4x plus 5x, and minus 10 minus 2. We get 9x minus 12. So now let's try another problem. We have 4 times minus 6.2z plus 3 plus open parenthesis 5z minus 1 and close parenthesis. Now we do the distributive property. 4 times minus 6.2z plus 4 times 3. I just put the parentheses outside because it looks more organized and it's like not messy. And we're not going to touch this. And we get minus 24.8z as a result of 4 times minus 6.2z. And we get 12 as a result of 4 times 3. Now we're going to be touching this side. We're going to be combining the like terms. We're going to be combining minus 24.8z plus 5z and 12 minus 1. So now we get minus 19.8z plus 11. Now we're going to be focusing on subtracting linear expressions. Our first question, we have open parenthesis 6y plus 5 close parenthesis minus 2 open parenthesis 7y minus 4 and close parenthesis. Now we're going to be doing the distributive property for this. It doesn't really matter if it's adding or subtracting, but when you see a number in front of like a parenthesis and numbers inside, you're gonna have to multiply. Now I put it into distributive property, minus 2 times 7y and minus 2 times minus 4. And we get minus 14y as a result of minus 2 times 7y. And we get 8 as in minus 2 times minus 4, because when you multiply a negative and a negative, you always get a positive. Now we're going to be combining the like terms. Minus 14y plus 6y plus 8 plus 5. And now we get minus 8y plus 13. And now for our next question. We have open parenthesis 4x plus 6 close parenthesis minus open parenthesis minus x plus 6 close parenthesis. So now again, for those of you who know this, forget this step, but beginners, this is for you. When you don't see a number in front of like a parenthesis, like you just see a sign and you don't see a number in front of a variable as well, there's always a 1. So now I put this in an easier way for beginners to understand. If you already understand this concept, you don't have to do it. Now we have a 1 always when there's just a plain sign, like a negative. And we always have a 1 in front of a variable when there isn't one. And now we simplify. Minus 1 times minus 1x, we just get a positive x because negative and a negative when you multiply turns into a positive. We just left the x there, but there's always a 1 here, so don't forget it. And minus 1 times positive 6 is minus 6. Now we're going to be combining the like terms. We have 4x plus 6 minus 6. Remember, there's a 1 in front of the x. So for our next question answer, we have 5x. So if you're wondering why there isn't an answer for positive 6 and minus 6, it's because when you have the same number, but they're different integers, like one's a positive and one's a negative, they cancel out. But that only applies when they're the same number. All right, so keep that in your mind. And now we're going to be looking at a real-life application. Taxi Express charges $2.45 plus $3.75 per mile, and Cab Cruiser charges $2.85 plus $3.80 per mile. Write an expression that represents how much more Cab Cruiser charges than Taxi Express. So now we could tell that Cab Cruiser already charges more because it says how much more Cab Cruiser charges than Taxi Express. And we can obviously see it in the numbers here that they are greater than Taxi Express. So now we're going to be putting them into expressions. For Taxi Express, we have $2.45 plus $3.75 M. So now if you're wondering why there's an M there, we could see that M equals miles. And it says per mile, right? So we don't know how many miles there are, but we do know what the amount is per mile. Per mile is 1 mile. So we don't know the quantity of miles. So we just put the unknown variable here next times the number for 1 mile. And now, Cab Cruiser. We have $2.85 plus $3.80 M. Applies. It's the same thing as this. And now we're going to combine those two. We already know that cab cruiser charges more, so that goes in the beginning of the expression, minus, because we're finding out how much more it costs because we're subtracting it, and $2.45 plus $3.75. And now we just take apart the parentheses. And now we're going to combine the like terms. $2.85 minus $2.45 plus $3.80 plus $3.75. Now we're going to simplify it. $7.55 plus 0.4m. It doesn't really matter where the m goes. I just put it in front. Alright, now it's time for you to do practice problems, and we will review the answers in the next video. We have adding linear expressions and subtracting linear expressions. For number 1, we have open parenthesis minus 14y plus 5 close parenthesis plus open parenthesis 12y minus 1 and close parenthesis. For number 2, we have open parenthesis x minus 3 close parenthesis plus open parenthesis 3x plus 5 and close parenthesis. For subtracting linear expressions, we have open parenthesis 7y plus 6 close parenthesis minus 3 open parenthesis 4y minus 2 and close parenthesis. And the last one, we have open parenthesis 5x plus 4 close parenthesis minus open parenthesis minus x plus 6 and close parenthesis. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys learned how to do adding linear expressions and subtracting linear expressions. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button and feel free to subscribe. Please wait for our next videos, and yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.